portal played for you and your program?
The name Sean Brown continues to come up, and they're going to use him in a multitude of ways. Dave Doeren right now taking the podium inside the press conference room. Take a listen.
How much of a role has the transfer portal played for you and your program?
You know, I think year to year, for us, it's just another method of adding talent, adding the key ingredients to the roster, and it's all based on need and where you may have a void. You know, in the past, pre-portal, you would look into the junior college areas and sometimes find a transfer that was a grad to fill a spot where maybe you had an injury or a player left early to go to the NFL. Obviously, as you guys know now, there's outflow and inflow coming in at different times differently than there ever has been. And so for us, it's assessing your roster. It's never ending. It changes weekly on kind of where you're at based on the health of what's going on, who's coming back, where you think you need to be better. And just getting into last season and how all this stuff came together. I mean, we've revamped our recruiting office 2 years ago, and once this stuff started, felt like we were chasing our tails a little bit. And so really came up with a plan, really based on NFL model on how they assess, how they evaluate once players are deemed players they would want on their rosters, how do they go about the process, and then integrating that into our program, have a great recruiting staff. And so it was regionally based, and you know, you look at Jordan and Grayson, two guys that chose to move on from their schools. They were guys that are in-state players to us, and guys that I knew would have personal value in staying home and doing something with a team that has the largest alumni base in the state. And sometimes things just kind of click, you know, and there was a bunch of guys in this cycle that wanted to come back to the state. Noah Rogers, Dalen Smothers, several guys, you know, that were from Raleigh or from North Carolina that left and wanted to return back closer to their families and be a part of our program. And we were just able to get the right type of guys. And that's the biggest thing, you know, when you want talent, that's one thing. Being here 12 years now, I'm not going to take a risk on the culture with that talent. You know, you have to find guys that fit what we're all about. And it's earned, not given. It's guys that want to work and that enjoy the brotherhood of the game, that are willing to sacrifice for the cause. And that's really, you know, we were blessed this year. We had a bunch of really good players that fit the kind of the design of what we were doing, that fit the returning players as well. You know, guys like Davin that have helped build this program. We don't want to sacrifice all the hard work of the players that have been here for a guy that's just coming in for a year. They needed to understand that they were joining something and in that helping them continue to grow what we do and increase what we're doing. And so we're very pleased. Obviously, two of the guys are here. But the team's, you know, pretty mixed. If you look at that recruiting class, there's still a great emphasis in high school recruiting as well.
Coach, follow the center aisle up to the left, gentleman in the white shirt.
Coach, these last couple of years, your team has talked about wanting to be different, doing things that take this program to the next level. What have you seen from your guys this year in 24 that might prove that they are different?
Well, we're about to hit the grass on Wednesday, and so, you know, I think every day we're out there, it's a measuring stick. It is, and you know, we're one of 5 programs over the last 4 years that have won 8 or more games in college football, and so we've sustained a level of competitive greatness that not many people have been able to do. With that being said, we want to win a championship, and so different is that. You know, it's taken the program from the second most wins since 2020 to winning the league, and that is different. And so, you know, what we did last year and the year before was good. You know, winning 9 games is good. We don't want to be good. We want to be the best at what we do. And so these guys understand that. We've talked a lot about what it looks like to be the best and how do we do that, and using the voice of the players to describe that. And then what does it not look like? What do we need to stay away from? What do we need to safeguard our program from? And so, you know, there's been a lot of discussion. There's obviously been a lot of hard work by these guys and our staff as we evaluate our schemes. To utilize the roster talent and to utilize the coaching talent that we have and to be integrated together in that. And so each day it's really a challenge. You know, you go out there day by day just trying to be better than you were. You know, a year ago Wednesday when we started camp, that's a measuring stick to where we're going to be when we start camp on this Wednesday. And it's everything. You know, it's how the grades come in from the summer. It's what Thunder says about the summer workouts. It's what Justin Smith says about the guys in the training room. It's when I go down to the nutrition area and ask how the guys are doing. All the comments add up, you know, and so you're always looking for signs of improvement and signs where, hey, we need to call this up. We need to talk about this. We're better than this. And just holding each other accountable to what we want. We want to be elite. And that means everything that we do can't cut corners. You know, it's got to be something that we push forward together.
Again, let's follow the center aisle up, this time to the right, gentleman in the green.
Corey Smith with Pack Pride. Dave, you know, the last few years, the running game hasn't quite been there for this offense, but you get a guy like Jordan Waters out of the portal. You know, how much better does that make this run game, and do you feel like that's more of a bell cow back type of guy for this offense too?
Well, yeah, Jordan's going to help us in the run game for sure. I think, you know, the whole offense in general, it always starts with what is the quarterback going to do, right? And we feel great about what Grayson can do. And then the offensive line, the blocking schemes that those guys are good at, and the depth that you have there, how the tight end plays into that run game. And then the receivers, the blocking on the perimeter is critical. You know, it is. And so there's no doubt being balanced on offense is something that, you know, I like. At the same time, we're going to play to our strengths. And to answer that question today, you know, we need to get on the grass. We need to go through training camp. We need to see where we're at. I feel good about not just Jordan, but the running back room in general. It's a good room. There's great leadership, but there's good depth, and there's competition, and the guys are working hard. And Jordan's done a really nice job showing them what it looks like, you know, coming back from the season he had last year. And you have young guys below him, and that's part of your job as an older player is this is what it looks like, this is what it doesn't look like, and holding those guys to a standard. And as we get into this, I know Coach and I and the staff on offense, offensive football has changed a lot. You guys know that with the rule changes in football, with the linemen downfield and RPOs and the tempo, and now you have another change. You know, you have sideline communication, which allows our coaches to speak to these guys in the huddle on the field. And so you're going to see another evolution in how that plays into offensive football this fall, which really hasn't been talked about a lot. But, you know, I'm excited to see how that does things for us and how we can take advantage of what those rules bring. And, you know, I think for Grayson and for any quarterback, he would tell you, having a run game helps. It changes the coverages you're throwing the ball against. It does. And if they're worried about what's going on with those handoffs and the pressure we can put on people, not just with the runs, but the RPOs behind them, it opens up a lot of things. And when you're talking about getting one-on-one coverage with the receivers that we now have, obviously KC coming back, but ways Dakari Collins came on in the spring, the way that, you know, we've seen Wesley Grimes and Noah Rogers come in also from the transfer portal, the weapons are different for him out there. And so it really plays into the entire thing. And not that you just call plays where you're taking what they give, but sometimes you are, you know, and when you can spread the ball around to different people, it just opens up things and creates a different pressure system on the defensive coordinator. And that's one of the things that I really like about football. You know, it's just trying to create chaos on the other side of the football. You know, if you're on offense, if you're on defense, whatever that is, let's make their jobs really hard.
Coach, right side, front row, right in front of you.
Coach, Dan Tortora, WakeUpCallDT.com. How are you?
Good, bud.
Looking at the fact that, like you said, you've spent a lot of time within the ACC, you've seen change. You've seen new institutions come in now, SMU, Cal, Stanford. We see accomplished greatness, but when you look at this conference throughout, how would you define it and who's coming in and what this looks like as you step forward as a coach, one of the longest tenured coaches in the conference?
You know, I think maximizing the gift that God gave you, to me, one of the tenets, one of the standards of our program is no underachievement allowed, you know, and I think that's just maximizing the opportunity you have as a person. Accomplishing greatness is that, you know, when you go to bed and lay your head down at night, did you do everything you could that day to be the best version of yourself? And if I get enough players and coaches to do that on a daily basis compared to those we compete against, the score ends up being the consequence of those actions. And, you know, what does greatness look like for NC State? Obviously, we want to hold that trophy up at the end of the year, okay? And there's a lot of ways to define it. But day in and day out, it's about maximizing the gift. You know, I think we're all, you know, you expect to wake up every day. You expect for things to be a certain way, and we all know that's not reality. You know, every day we get is a blessing. And so taking advantage of that blessing, it's something that, you know, the older I get, the more that I value. I do. And really the relationships and the gratitude I have for the staff that I get to work with, for the players that I get to coach. I mean, I got a great job. I got great guys to work with, and I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful that these guys are here. I'm thankful that they're getting ready to go to work and the work they put in this summer. And they know it's going to be hard, and I look forward to that with them. You know, when you talk about accomplishing greatness, I don't think it's just something you can define in one sentence. I mean, football seasons are crazy. I mean, the emotional swings that take place day to day, minute to minute, the amount of things that happen over the course of the year and how fast it goes within that million things that goes on. It's going to be a fun journey with these guys. And so just, you know, really thankful for the opportunity to do this with them and looking forward to where it goes.
Coach, thank you. You referenced these guys. Let's go ahead and start meeting these guys. You can
Thank you.